Listen carefully, because what I'm about to tell you will shake you. You didn't stumble here by chance. You were guided. God is about to place $333 million in your hands. And this is not fantasy, it's a decree. Imagine debts erased, opportunities unlocked, a life where money is no longer your wall but your weapon. From this second forward, you are stepping into overflow. And I dare you, don't just listen, claim it. Type, "I receive $333 million" in the comments. Subscribe right now and stay until the end, because this word will change everything for you. You are here for a reason. You didn't just stumble into this message by accident, and you know that deep down. Something in your spirit brought you here, and the moment you began listening, you could already feel it. This is different. This is not random, and it's not coincidence. This is alignment. You were guided, pulled, positioned, and prepared to hear what I am about to tell you. It is bigger than anything you've expected, bigger than anything you've dreamed, and it is already in motion. Heaven has already made a decision about you. The decree has already been written, and it involves a blessing so massive that when it lands in your life, nothing about your present reality will ever look the same again. God is about to place $333 million in your hands. Yes, you heard that number correctly. $333 million. Not 3,000, not 300,000, not even 3 million, but $333 million. That number is more than money, more than wealth, more than financial increase. It is a prophetic code, a divine confirmation, a spiritual signature attached to your destiny. When you see 333, heaven is whispering breakthrough, abundance, overflow. But this time, it is not just a whisper, it is a decree. It has already been released, and you are standing in the doorway of manifestation. Let that number rest in your heart for a moment. Picture it clearly, 333 million. Imagine the debt-free freedom it represents. Imagine never again having to choose between paying a bill and feeding your family. Imagine not only being able to cover your needs, but lifting others, paying off homes for relatives, creating opportunities for people you love. Imagine being able to walk into a room and carry solutions instead of worries. Money stops being a wall you keep bumping into and becomes a tool in your hand, a weapon you wield with wisdom, a resource for your calling. This is not about greed. It is about destiny. It is about stepping into the fullness of purpose that God designed for you. For too long, the enemy has tried to convince you that struggle is your permanent address, that you would always be catching up, always chasing, always feeling just behind. He wanted you to believe that the cycle of scraping by was your lot in life. But hear me, the enemy's lie has reached its expiration date. God is stepping in to cancel it once and for all. With $333 million, you are no longer positioned as a survivor. You are elevated as a kingdom builder. You are no longer praying for enough to survive each month. You are now stewarding overflow so great that your children and your children's children will still be reaping the benefits generations from now. This isn't fantasy. This isn't daydreaming. This is the promise, and it belongs to you. Do you understand why it is 333? Numbers are not random in heaven's language. 3 is the number of completion, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, a trinity that represents unity and perfection. When you see it repeated 3 times, it is heaven stamping the message, complete, complete, complete. Nothing missing, nothing broken, nothing lacking. And when that heavenly stamp is tied directly to a financial release, it is God declaring, the completeness I have spoken over your spirit will now be reflected in your finances. $333 million is not a loose guess. It is prophetic precision. It is heaven's math, and heaven's math does not miss. You need to begin seeing yourself the way God sees you. Not small, not overlooked, not struggling, not invisible. You are chosen. You are favored. You are set apart. That's why this word has been placed in front of you. Heaven does not waste prophecy on people who cannot carry it. If you are hearing this, it is because heaven has weighed your heart and determined this one is ready, this one can be trusted. That's why this specific number, this specific promise, has landed on your life. It is not just for your comfort, it is for your calling. It is for the vision inside you that has been waiting for the right resources to ignite. It is for the people who will be lifted because you were lifted. Now, picture it. Your bank account no longer bouncing between 2 digits, no longer flashing overdraft fees, no longer mocking your efforts. Instead, you open it and see numbers you never thought possible. Zeros upon zeros stacked up, proof that the promise has manifested. Every time you swipe your card, it is not a moment of anxiety but a declaration that you are walking in overflow. And listen, this is not pride. This is not arrogance. This is testimony. Because every time someone asks you, how did you do it? How did this happen? Your answer will not be about hustle or luck or chance. Your answer will be, it wasn't me. It was God. He gave me 333 million. But because this blessing is extraordinary, your preparation cannot be ordinary. That's why alignment matters. That's why obedience matters. That's why you've been asked to cleanse, to set yourself apart, to treat this moment with reverence. Your feet, your groin, your navel, they are not random. They are gates, gates of direction, gates of creation, gates of alignment. When you cleanse them, you're not just cleaning your body, you are agreeing with heaven. You are saying, I am ready, I am available, I am aligned. Every drop of water, every whispered prayer, every intentional act is another signal to heaven that you are a vessel prepared for overflow. And I need you to think bigger than a single moment of wealth. This is not about one check. This is not about a quick win or a lucky break. This is about a lifestyle shift, a permanent repositioning. 333 million puts you into a realm of abundance where money is no longer the obstacle. You move from renter to owner, from borrower to lender, from small dreamer to great fulfiller. This is the level of transformation that is being written into your story right now. I want you to start imagining it with clarity, not just vague daydreaming, but specific pictures. Imagine walking into the bank and watching the teller do a double take when they pull up your balance. Imagine calling your parents, your siblings, your closest people and saying, your debt is gone. It's taken care of. Imagine waking up in the morning, not consumed with worry about what you lack, but focused on strategy, how you will bless, how you will build, how you will create lasting change. That's what 333 million does. It flips your story from stress into strategy, from lack into legacy. And yet, here's the key. Belief is everything. You must believe it. You must receive it. You must claim it. Heaven has already written your name on this blessing, but your agreement is the signature that releases it. Every time you say, I receive $333 million, you are signing the contract. Every time you declare it, you are opening the door wider. Don't just nod along, say it. Don't just wish it quietly, declare it boldly. Your words are keys, and every declaration is another turn in the lock. And when it arrives, do not hide it. Don't apologize for it. Don't shrink back because others don't understand. God is not giving you 333 million to bury it. He is giving it so you can shine, so you can stand as living proof. When people look at you, they will see with their own eyes that God is not only the God of survival, He is the God of abundance, and your life will be the evidence. This blessing is not just about money, it is about transformation in your soul. You will be rich in dollars, yes, but you will also be rich in peace, rich in clarity, rich in alignment. Because wealth without peace is misery, but wealth with alignment is destiny fulfilled. That is what's being released into your life. Wholeness, completeness, abundance in every form. This is your moment. You are here for a reason, and the reason is bigger than you knew. Heaven has already decided. The decree has already been written. $333 million is your portion, and it is closer than you think. The number 333 is not just an idea floating in your imagination. It is a sign, a prophetic code that carries the weight of heaven's confirmation. You need to recognize how intentional this is. Nothing about this number is random, and nothing about this promise is casual. Heaven has been dropping hints in front of you for a reason. Every time you notice 333 glowing on your clock, every time you saw 333 on a receipt, every time it seemed to pop up in a way you couldn't explain, that was not coincidence. That was the universe aligning itself to remind you. A decree has been spoken over your life. 3 is the number of completion. It represents the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, the perfect unity, the full picture of wholeness. And when you see it repeated 3 times, it is not repetition for style. It is reinforcement for certainty. It is heaven stamping the seal over your life. Complete, complete, complete. No gaps, no holes, no missing pieces. Nothing lacking, nothing broken, nothing left behind. And when that prophetic stamp attaches itself to your finances, it is God saying, "What I am releasing will not be partial. It will not be just enough to cover the moment. It will be complete abundance, complete provision, complete overflow." And that's why the amount is so specific. $333 million. Not 300 million, not 350 million, but 333 million. Prophetic precision. Heaven's math is exact. The promise is not a loose guess, not a vague encouragement, not a generic, "you'll be blessed." It is specific, it is personal, and it carries your name on it. You might ask yourself, why such a huge amount? Why not something smaller, something easier to imagine? Because God doesn't think small. God doesn't calculate in scraps. God calculates in abundance. He wants to prove to you and through you that His capacity is unlimited. If you were promised $333, you might dismiss it. If you were promised $33,000, you might think it's possible through your own effort. But 333 million? That number shakes you. That number forces you to admit this could only be God. That's the point. It's not meant to make sense to the natural mind. It's meant to stretch your faith into the supernatural realm where miracles live. You have to let this truth sink into your spirit, because the more you meditate on it, the more it becomes real to you. And the more real it becomes in your spirit, the faster it manifests in your life. That's how faith works. You don't wait until you see it in your bank account to believe it. You believe it now, you declare it now, you hold on to it now, and then the physical reality comes into alignment with what heaven already released. Think of it this way. Heaven has already mailed the package. The decree has already been sent. Your job is to make sure your address is correct, that your spirit is ready to receive delivery. And that's what this number does. It reminds you that you are on heaven's radar, that your blessing is not lost, not delayed, not forgotten. Every 333 you see is heaven saying, "It's on the way, stay ready." Now, let's go deeper. 333 does not only symbolize completion, it also represents multiplication. 3 is the number of resurrection, the number of new life. Jesus rose on the 3rd day. It is the number of restoration and power. And when multiplied in itself, 3 times 3 times 3, it carries exponential force. That's why the blessing is not just enough for you. It is not even just enough for your family. It is designed to ripple outward, multiplying into communities, multiplying into nations, multiplying into generations. This is not a small ripple. It is a tidal wave. So, when you hear $333 million, I don't want you to limit your vision to what you can buy or what bills you can pay. I want you to expand your vision to what you can build, what you can establish, what you can plant that will outlive you. That number is about legacy. It is about you becoming a channel, a carrier of kingdom wealth, a living testimony that God does not just meet needs. He exceeds them, multiplies them, and expands them. And let's be honest, sometimes it's hard to imagine that level of blessing when you're staring at your current situation. You might be surrounded by bills. You might be caught in debt. You might feel like you're drowning in the exact opposite of abundance. That's why heaven gives signs. That's why the number shows up when you least expect it. It's a lifeline, a reminder that no matter what it looks like right now, your story is not finished. 333 is God saying, look again. Don't measure your future by your present. Measure it by my promise. You cannot afford to dismiss this. Too many people brush past signs, shrug them off as coincidences, and miss their moment. But you are paying attention. You are tuned in. That's why you're still here, still listening, still absorbing. You are sensitive enough to recognize that this is more than words. It's confirmation. And because you've chosen to recognize it, heaven is accelerating the release. Every time you see 333 now, I want you to speak it out loud. 333 million is mine. Heaven has already released it. Let that number trigger your faith, not your doubt. Let it fill you with expectation, not hesitation. Because how you respond to the sign determines how quickly the promise becomes reality. This is not about superstition. This is not about luck. This is not about chance. This is about alignment. Signs are heaven's way of making sure you don't miss what's coming. They are reminders to keep you steady, to keep you hopeful, to keep you prepared. And 333 is not just any sign, it is the sign, the one pointing you straight toward the blessing written with your name. So, from this moment on, treat it as sacred. When you see it, don't rush past it. Pause. Acknowledge it. Declare it. Agree with it. Because every time you do, you are strengthening your alignment, widening the door, speeding up the delivery. Heaven is generous, but heaven also responds to recognition. You recognize the sign, you honor it, and heaven honors you by pouring out the fullness of what it represents. You are walking with precision right now. Every step, every sign, every whisper of 333 is lining you up for manifestation. And when it comes, you will not be surprised. You will be ready. Because you paid attention, because you believed, because you responded to the sign when others ignored it. That's why this $333 million belongs to you. You've spent long enough in the cycle of just surviving, of scraping by, of juggling bills and praying that what you have stretches until the next paycheck. That chapter of your life has been heavy, and it has felt endless at times. But I need you to understand this with absolute clarity. Survival is not your destiny. Struggle is not your inheritance. Barely making it is not your portion. That's why heaven has spoken such a massive number over you. $333 million is heaven's way of shifting you from scarcity into stewardship, from scraping by into building boldly, from the mindset of surviving into the authority of thriving. This blessing is not about a one-time rescue. It's about a permanent repositioning. Right now, you may see money as something you're constantly chasing. You may see it as a wall, as something that limits your choices, as something that controls your life. But when this blessing manifests, money will no longer control you. You will control it. Money will no longer be a wall you crash into. It will become a tool in your hands. It will become a servant to your calling, not a master over your days. You need to picture this transformation. Picture yourself moving from renter to owner, from borrower to lender, from I wish to I will. Think about the difference between just covering bills versus being able to invest in dreams. Right now, you might hesitate to give because you fear not having enough. But as a steward of $333 million, you will give freely, generously, joyfully, because you will always know there is more where that came from. Scarcity says, hold back, you might run out. Stewardship says, release it, because I am tapped into heaven's endless supply. God is not giving you $333 million just so you can breathe easier for a season. He's giving it so you can step into the role of steward, someone who manages wealth with purpose, with wisdom, with vision. You won't just pay off your debts, you'll cancel the debts of others. You won't just bless your own household, you'll bless entire neighborhoods. You won't just cover your own needs, you'll invest in generational opportunities that ripple outward for decades. The shift from scarcity to stewardship requires a new mindset. You cannot approach $333 million with the same thought patterns you had when you were fighting for $333. That old mindset of fear, lack, and never enough cannot survive in this new chapter. If you try to hold on to scarcity thinking, you'll sabotage the blessing. That's why heaven is preparing you now, teaching you to see money differently, to handle it differently, to expect more, and to manage more. Because stewardship is not just about receiving wealth, it's about knowing how to multiply it, protect it, and direct it toward purpose. You've already proven that you can survive with little. You've already shown that you can stretch, hustle, and endure. But now you must prove that you can be trusted with much. Remember what Scripture says, "Whoever is faithful with little will be entrusted with much." You've been faithful with the scraps, with the small, with the tight seasons. Now heaven is testing. Can you be faithful with $333 million? Can you handle it with integrity, with responsibility, with vision that goes beyond yourself? And the answer, spoken over your life, is yes. That's why you were chosen. That's why you're still here listening. Think of what it will feel like the first time you say, "I am debt-free." Imagine never again dreading the due dates on your bills. Imagine opening your mailbox and knowing there are no collectors waiting, no final notices hiding, no fear attached. That's freedom. But then imagine going beyond that, helping others experience the same freedom. Imagine calling your friend who has been buried in medical debt and telling them, "It's gone, I covered it." Imagine helping families in your community pay off student loans, mortgages, car payments. That's stewardship. That's kingdom living. Yeah. The enemy would love for you to stay stuck in survival mode, always distracted, always stressed, always too drained to dream. Because as long as you're just trying to survive, you don't have the capacity to expand, to create, to build. But the moment you step into overflow, the enemy loses that leverage. You are no longer distracted by bills. You are focused on vision. You are no longer tied down by lack. You are free to create legacy. That's why this blessing is dangerous to him and powerful for you. And let me remind you, stewardship is not about hoarding. It's not about stockpiling for selfish gain. It's about flow. Money is like water. It's meant to move, to circulate, to nourish. If you try to dam it up and hold it all, it becomes stagnant. But when you release it, when you direct it with wisdom, it multiplies and refreshes everyone it touches, including you. God is placing $333 million in your hands, not to make you a hoarder, but to make you a channel. You will become a river of blessing, a current of provision, a flow of abundance that cannot be stopped. The beauty of stewardship is that it creates impact you cannot even measure. You will never fully know how far your blessing reaches. A scholarship you fund may educate someone who goes on to cure a disease. A business you invest in may create jobs for hundreds of families. A donation you give to a local program may keep a teenager off the streets and set them on a path of purpose. That's what stewardship looks like. It multiplies in directions you can't even imagine. But you must start now, even before the millions manifest. Begin thinking like a steward. Begin speaking like a steward. Begin acting like someone who carries responsibility, not just someone waiting for rescue. When you shift your mindset in advance, you prepare the soil for the harvest to land. Scarcity says, "I'll change once I have it." Stewardship says, "I'll live ready so I can carry it." That's the difference. So, right now, declare it with me. I am not just a survivor, I am a steward. I am entrusted with $333 million, and I will use it with wisdom, with faith, with purpose. Speak it until it feels natural. Speak it until your spirit accepts it as truth. Because the moment you stop identifying with scarcity and start living like a steward, you step into the alignment that allows heaven to deliver. This is your transformation. From scraping by to walking in surplus, from fearing lack to commanding resources, from begging for enough to blessing with overflow. This is the chapter heaven has written for you, and it begins with you accepting that 333 million is not too much for you. It's not too big. It's not beyond your capacity. It's exactly what you were born to carry. Preparation is never wasted. Preparation is never extra. Preparation is always the key that unlocks the promise. That's why you cannot treat this moment casually. Heaven is preparing you for something so massive, so life-shifting, that your vessel must be ready. $333 million is not light. It carries weight, it carries responsibility, it carries power, and power in the wrong hands can be destructive. But power in prepared hands multiplies blessings. That is why your preparation matters. That is why obedience to the instructions you've been given is not optional, it is essential. The act of cleansing may look simple on the surface: water, cloth, a few minutes of your day. But spiritually, it is far deeper than that. You are not just washing skin. You are opening gates. You are aligning heaven and earth. Your feet, your groin, your navel. These are not random. Each one is chosen with precision. Each one is a doorway that either blocks or releases flow in your life. And every time you cleanse with prayer and intention, you are signaling to heaven, I am ready, I am available, I am aligned. Pour into me. Think about your feet. They carry you everywhere without complaint. They walk you into opportunities. They hold you steady on the path. Spiritually, your feet represent direction. If they are blocked, you wander. If they are unclean, you stumble. But when they are washed with focus, your steps become ordered. Every stride you take after cleansing is consecrated. You no longer walk randomly, you walk purposefully. You don't just move into spaces, you shift atmospheres when you arrive. The moment you honor your feet in obedience, doors begin opening. Paths that felt unclear suddenly light up. Appointments align. Divine connections begin seeking you out. Now, think about your groin. It is the gate of creation, the seat of life, the channel of legacy. Spiritually, it is often ignored, but that's because the enemy has always tried to corrupt it. He knows the power that flows from there. It carries not just physical creation, but creative force, your ideas, your vision, your capacity to bring something new into existence. If that gate is neglected, power leaks, confusion seeps in, purpose feels clouded. But when you cleanse it intentionally, declaring purity, strength, and clarity, you reclaim that seat of creation. You restore your power. You protect your legacy. You align your creativity with heaven's blueprint. Suddenly, your ideas arrive sharper. Your vision becomes clearer. What once felt blocked begins to flow freely. And then there is the navel, your center, the very first cord of connection you ever had, tying you to life in your mother's womb. It is your original root, your grounding, your alignment point. When spiritually neglected, you feel scattered. You feel lost, unsteady, pulled in too many directions. But when you cleanse your navel with prayer and intention, you reset your entire being. You bring yourself back to balance, back to source, back to flow. Your discernment sharpens. Your intuition strengthens. You begin to feel led instead of lost. This act resets your compass so you are not swayed by distractions, but drawn towards destiny. This preparation is not superstition. It is not empty ritual. It is obedience. And obedience is the highest form of faith. Anyone can say they believe, but when you act, when you align, when you prepare your body and your spirit, you prove to heaven that your faith is real. That's why these acts matter. Because each day you obey, you are whispering to heaven, I am trustworthy, I am ready, I can carry the weight of this blessing. And let me remind you, heaven does not waste blessings. Heaven does not pour new wine into dirty vessels. Heaven waits for readiness. Too many people are praying for blessings while remaining unprepared to handle them. They cry out for financial overflow but refuse to change habits, refuse to align, refuse to obey. But you are different. That's why you've been given these specific instructions. That's why you're being called to prepare in ways that may feel unusual. because heaven is about to release something unusual. Think of it this way. Every act of cleansing, every prayer spoken while you wash, every moment of intention, it is like laying a brick on the highway that your blessing will travel. At first, it may feel small, but brick by brick, act by act, you are building the road. And soon, 333 million will not be circling, waiting for an entrance. It will come rushing in on the highway you've built with your obedience. And do not underestimate how preparation protects you. The enemy thrives in disorder, in distraction, in delay. He cannot stop God's plan, but he can try to slow you, try to confuse you, try to clutter your life enough that you miss your window. That is why this cleansing is so strategic. When you wash those gates, you close off the enemy's footholds. He loses the access points he once used to trip you. You become harder to deceive, harder to derail, harder to distract. Instead of stumbling, you stride. Instead of faltering, you flourish. This preparation also sharpens your awareness. It tunes your spirit so you can recognize opportunities when they come. Because the truth is, the blessing is not just about money dropping out of the sky. Sometimes it arrives through doors, through contracts, through connections, through sudden favor, and if you're not aligned, you might miss those doors. But when you're cleansed, when you're centered, when your gates are open, you recognize those opportunities instantly. You know which calls to answer, which doors to walk through, which ideas to pursue. That's the power of preparation. It not only makes you ready to receive, it makes you wise enough to recognize. So, every morning, when you take the time to cleanse, don't rush it. Don't treat it like another task on your list. Feel it, pray over it, declare over it. Tell your feet, every step I take is ordered. Tell your groin, every creative force flowing from me is pure and powerful. Tell your navel, I am centered, aligned, and connected to heaven's flow. Let every drop of water carry the weight of prophecy, because in those moments, you are not just washing a body, you are unlocking destiny. This preparation is the proof heaven needs. Your faith isn't only in your words, it's in your actions. And when heaven sees that consistency, it releases the promise with power. Do not neglect it. Do not delay it. Treat this as your daily alignment with the greatest season of your life. Because once the blessing begins to flow, it will come like a flood. And you will know, without a doubt, that your preparation was the key that opened the vault. Stay obedient, stay intentional, keep cleansing, because every single act is drawing 333 million closer into your hands. Agreement is the bridge between what heaven has decreed and what you experience in your reality. The blessing has already been written in the heavenly ledger, but it requires your voice, your faith, your consent to manifest on earth. That's why you cannot afford to be passive in this season. You cannot simply nod along and hope it happens. You must partner with the promise. You must open your mouth and agree. Because every word you speak is either building a door for the blessing to enter or building a wall that keeps it out. Think about this. Heaven has already placed $333 million in motion for you. The delivery is guaranteed, but your agreement is the signature that releases it. If you never sign, the package sits waiting. But the moment you declare, I receive it, I align with it, I believe it, you sign your name across the promise, and heaven delivers. Agreement activates release. This is why your words are so critical. Life and death are in the power of the tongue. Words create worlds. What you speak today shapes what you live tomorrow. That's why you cannot afford to joke about poverty, to declare lack, to speak fear. Every time you say, I'm broke, you reinforce scarcity. Every time you complain about not having enough, you build walls around your blessing. But every time you say, I received $333 million, you swing the door open wider. You invite the blessing to come in. You align your reality with heaven's decree. Do not underestimate the power of repetition. Agreement must be consistent. You cannot declare once and then fall silent. Think of it like watering a seed. You don't pour water one time and expect a harvest. You water daily. You nurture consistently, and then, at the right time, the plant breaks through the soil. Your declarations are the water that brings the seed of 333 million to life. So every day, say it out loud, I receive $333 million. God has given it to me. It is mine. Say it in the morning. Say it at night. Say it while you walk, while you drive, while you work. Let your atmosphere be saturated with agreement. The more you speak it, the more your subconscious believes it. And the more you believe it, the more your reality shifts to align with it. Faith does not wait until the evidence shows up to speak. Faith speaks in advance, as if it's already done. That's why you must declare with confidence, not hesitation. Don't whisper it with doubt in your tone. Say it boldly, firmly, like someone reading a fact. Because in heaven's eyes, it is a fact. It is already finished. Your words simply align your earthly reality to what is finished in the Spirit. And don't let fear of other people's opinions silence you. Some may laugh. Some may mock. Some may roll their eyes when they hear you declare $333 million over your life. But their doubt cannot cancel your destiny. Their disbelief cannot override heaven's decree. If Noah had waited for the approval of the crowd, the ark would have never been built. If Abraham had waited for everyone to understand, he would have never left his homeland. Faith is not about consensus. Faith is about agreement between you and heaven. That's all you need. The enemy will try to whisper, "You're foolish for saying that. It will never happen." But that's because he knows the power of your agreement. He knows that if you keep declaring, he cannot stop the manifestation. So he tries to silence you with shame, with doubt, with fear. But you cannot give him that victory. Every time he whispers, raise your voice louder. Every time he lies, declare the truth again. $333 million is mine. It is coming into my life now. Heaven has released it, and I agree. Agreement is also about posture, not just words. Your actions must echo your declarations. If you declare abundance but live like scarcity, you are double-minded. But if you declare abundance and begin to act like a steward, you reinforce your agreement. Start making choices that reflect your belief. Plan with expectation. Prepare with intention. Align your daily decisions with the reality of wealth. That's how agreement becomes embodied, not just spoken, but lived. When you combine words with action, agreement becomes unshakable. Heaven sees not only your mouth declaring, but your life preparing. That's when acceleration happens. That's when manifestation speeds up, because heaven trusts that you are not just wishing, you are ready. Now, let me remind you, agreement is not about trying to convince God. He has already decided. Agreement is about convincing yourself. It is about training your soul, retraining your thoughts, shifting your identity until you fully believe, I am a millionaire, I am chosen, I am a carrier of $333 million. When your soul accepts this truth, nothing can stop the blessing from showing up. Picture yourself signing a contract every time you speak it. Each declaration is another signature. Each word is another mark of agreement, until the page is filled, until the delivery is undeniable. And soon, you will look around and realize the words you spoke have become the life you live. So right now, wherever you are, speak it. I receive $333 million. I agree with heaven's decree. I am ready. I am aligned. I am a steward of abundance. Say it until it feels like your natural language. Say it until doubt has no space left. Say it until it becomes the atmosphere around you, because agreement is the doorway. And once you open it wide enough, the flood will rush in. Never forget, agreement activates release, and your release is already on the way. Now, it's time to step beyond the promise and into the vision of what it looks like when it arrives. This is where your imagination is not just a tool, it's a prophecy in motion. You've declared it, you've agreed with it, and now you must see it as real. Because if you cannot picture it, you will not prepare for it. And if you do not prepare for it, you will not carry it when it arrives. $333 million is more than a number on paper. It is a transformation of your daily life, your decisions, your legacy. You must begin living as if it's already here. So imagine it. Imagine waking up tomorrow and opening your phone to check your account, only to see numbers you never thought possible. At first, your heart skips a beat. You refresh the screen, thinking it must be an error. But it's not an error, it's manifestation. The zeros line up, the balance holds steady, and in that moment you realize the promise has landed. Tears fill your eyes, not just because you're relieved, but because you know this is heaven's signature on your life. This is the proof that what you believed was never a fantasy. It was faith fulfilled. Now, picture what happens next. You no longer live under the pressure of bills and debts. You don't wake up stressed about what's due. Instead, you wake up with strategy on your mind. You ask yourself, how can I use this blessing to create change? How can I multiply it for impact? How can I turn this abundance into a legacy that lasts? Your mornings shift from panic to planning, from anxiety to assignment. $333 million doesn't just change your finances. It changes your mindset, your posture, your rhythm. Imagine the first phone call you make. You call your parents, your siblings, the people who stood with you in the hard seasons, and you say the words they never thought they'd hear. It's taken care of. Your debts are gone. Your burdens are lifted. You're free. Can you feel the weight of those words? The tears on the other end of the line. The laughter that comes when they realize it's not a joke. That's the kind of blessing you're stepping into. One that liberates not just you, but those connected to you. And then picture walking into the bank. You sit across from the banker, and for the first time in your life, you're not begging for approval. You're not waiting to be told you don't qualify. Instead, they lean forward, eager to work with you, because you are now in a position of influence. The account balance speaks for itself. The authority in your posture speaks for itself. You are no longer a client pleading for scraps. You are a partner commanding respect. That's what living the manifestation feels like. But don't stop there. Imagine the projects you'll fund, the businesses you'll start, the schools you'll build, the scholarships you'll establish. Imagine standing on land you purchased, cutting a ribbon for something that will serve generations, knowing it was your obedience that made it possible. Picture the faces of children you'll never meet who will have a future because you chose to steward your blessing well. That's what $333 million does. It turns lack into legacy. It turns small dreams into global impact. And yes, picture yourself enjoying it too. Imagine walking into a car dealership and choosing without worry. Imagine designing your dream home, not asking, "Can I afford it?" but instead asking, "What legacy do I want this home to represent?" Imagine traveling, seeing the world, not as an escape, but as an expansion of your spirit. You're not running from bills. You're running toward experiences, toward beauty, toward joy. And that joy is not selfish. It is testimony. It is proof that God's blessings do not just cover survival, they overflow into enjoyment. Living the manifestation also means peace. Money without peace is misery, but $333 million with alignment brings balance. You're not lying awake at night anymore, tossing in stress. You're resting deeply, knowing your future is secure. You're not second-guessing decisions, you're discerning them with clarity. Your center is aligned. Your gates are cleansed. Your path is lit. That's what living in manifestation feels like. Peace saturating your days. Clarity guiding your choices. Confidence replacing hesitation. And imagine the testimony you carry. People who once doubted you, who once dismissed you, will now look at your life and see undeniable proof. They'll ask, "How did you do it?" And your answer will be simple. "I didn't. God did. He gave me $333 million. Your story becomes a living sermon. You won't even need to preach with words, because your life will preach louder. Your blessing will speak for itself, pointing back to the source who made it possible. But here's what makes living the manifestation so powerful. It doesn't stop with you. It multiplies. Every dollar becomes a seed. And when you sow, you reap more. When you bless, you receive more. When you pour out, heaven pours in. The cycle never ends because you are living in overflow. 333 million is not a ceiling, it's a foundation. It's the beginning of a lifestyle of a continual expansion, continual multiplication, continual outpouring. Now, I want you to anchor this in your imagination. Don't just think about it once and move on. Begin to live there. See yourself checking that account balance every day. See yourself making those calls to free your family. See yourself building, creating, blessing. Let those visions be so real that your mind can't tell the difference between imagination and manifestation. Because the moment your spirit fully accepts it, your reality has no choice but to catch up. This is how you live the manifestation before it arrives, by walking as if it's already here. And when you walk like it's already here, heaven speeds up the delivery, because you are no longer waiting passively. You are living actively in agreement. That's the secret. You don't wait until the harvest to celebrate. You celebrate now. You live now. You walk now. And soon, what you've seen in your spirit will stand in your reality. So, let me tell you clearly, you are not waiting for 333 million. You are already living it. The account balance is catching up, but the reality is yours. Step into it. Live in it. Speak it. Breathe it. Because manifestation is not coming, it's here. Influence is a natural byproduct of overflow. When you step into the reality of $333 million, you are not just stepping into financial freedom. You are stepping into authority, into visibility, into the power to shape lives and rewrite stories. Abundance does more than buy comfort. Abundance creates impact. And with 333 million, your impact will be undeniable. Picture yourself walking into a boardroom. You're not there to beg for a chance or to plead for approval. You're there because people want your presence. They want your voice. They want your wisdom and your resources. Suddenly, every table you sit at shifts in energy because you are no longer speaking from theory. You are speaking from testimony. Wealth gives weight to your words. And when you steward it with obedience, people listen. You become an authority, not because of ego, but because of evidence. The evidence of favor on your life speaks louder than any introduction. This is why heaven trusts you with 333 million. It is not just for comfort, it is for kingdom expansion. You will fund visions that others have been too afraid to touch. You will invest in ideas that transform communities. You will create platforms that amplify voices. You will step into spaces of influence not to dominate, but to elevate. Every dollar becomes a tool, every investment a seed, every project a testimony. Think about the schools you'll build. Children who never dreamed of opportunity will sit in classrooms you funded. They will learn, grow, and step into futures that once felt impossible, all because you said yes to stewardship. Think about the hospitals or community centers you'll establish. Families who could not afford care will find healing in spaces you created. Think about the scholarships you'll endow. Young leaders will rise because you believed in them before the world did. That's the power of influence fueled by obedience. Your wealth will also allow you to rewrite narratives. Too often, people are silenced because they lack resources. But with 333 million, you give them microphones. You give them platforms. You give them the support they need to be heard. And when voices rise, change follows. You'll see policies shift, communities strengthen, and movements grow because your influence made space for them. Don't underestimate the generational impact of this. Influence doesn't stop with you. It ripples. The businesses you fund will create jobs for thousands of families. The homes you help build will shelter generations. The opportunities you create will birth leaders who go on to create more opportunities. It becomes exponential, and none of it starts with ego. It starts with obedience to the blessing you've been given. Now, understand this. Influence is not always about being seen. Sometimes it's about being the unseen force that moves things forward. You may not always stand on the stage, but you'll be the reason the stage exists. You may not always be in the spotlight, but you'll be the light funding the spotlight. And that unseen influence is just as powerful as the visible kind. Heaven is trusting you with 333 million because you know how to handle both. You can shine when needed and stay hidden when necessary. Your influence will also disarm the enemy. For too long, he has used poverty as a weapon to silence voices, to limit vision, to choke out destiny. But when you carry 333 million, that weapon loses power. You cannot be silenced by lack when you live in overflow. You cannot be distracted by survival when you operate in abundance. And that terrifies the enemy. Because now, instead of fighting for your own needs, you are free to fight for the needs of others. You become a warrior for justice, for equity, for kingdom impact. And hear this, your influence is not just financial, it's spiritual. People will look at your life and know God is real. They will see the blessing and know it was not luck, not chance, not hustle. It was heaven. That testimony will shift atmospheres more powerfully than any sermon. Your life will preach louder than your words. And people who never would have believed will begin to trust because they see undeniable favor resting on you. With influence comes responsibility, and that's why obedience is the foundation. The moment you forget the source, you risk misusing the blessing. But as long as you stay aligned, as long as you continue to cleanse, to pray, to declare, your influence will remain pure. It will remain powerful. It will remain fruitful. Imagine 10 years from now, walking through a city and seeing buildings, programs, businesses, and families thriving because of what you funded, what you built, what you supported. Imagine realizing that your obedience to believe in 333 million created a ripple that outlasted you. That's influence. That's legacy. That's kingdom expansion at its fullest. So embrace it now. Don't shy away from it. Don't downplay it to make others comfortable. Step into your influence boldly. Speak with authority. Give with courage. Build with vision. Because 333 million is not just about wealth. It's about impact. And your life is about to become a testimony of what happens when influence is stewarded with obedience. Faith is easy when everything looks certain, when you can already see evidence lining up. But true faith is proven in the fire. When nothing around you suggests the promise is possible. When doubt shouts louder than belief. When the wait feels endless. That's why this season is so critical. The promise of $333 million has already been released. But you must endure the testing, the whispers of doubt, the opinions of others, and the delays that try to discourage you. Because only faith that endures under fire can carry a blessing this massive. Think of Noah. He built an ark with no rain in sight, mocked by his neighbors day after day. Think of Abraham. He left his homeland without a map, walking only on the promise of a future nation. Think of Joseph. He dreamed of leadership, but was sold into slavery and thrown into prison before the palace doors opened. Every great promise comes with a season of testing. And now your testing is this. Will you keep declaring? Will you keep believing? Will you keep cleansing and aligning even when it feels foolish? Even when others laugh? Even when time stretches longer than you expected? That's what proves your faith is real. The enemy knows he cannot cancel God's decree. He cannot stop 333 million from being written over your life. But he will try to delay it. He will try to wear you out, to discourage you, to silence you. He will whisper, "It's never going to happen. You're wasting your time. This is just fantasy." And when you hear those whispers, you have two choices. Agree with them or drown them out with truth. Every time doubt shows up, your job is to declare louder, and $333 million is mine. Heaven has released it. I am ready. I am aligned. I am chosen. Repetition is your weapon in this season. Do not underestimate it. Every time you repeat the promise, you are chiseling away at the walls of delay. Every time you declare it, you are striking the enemy's lies with truth. Faith doesn't need to shout once. Faith needs to endure with steady consistency. Day after day, word after word, prayer after prayer. You are building momentum. And just when it feels like nothing is happening, the breakthrough cracks open. And remember, endurance is not passive waiting. Endurance is active. It is choosing to live as if the promise is already true. It is preparing your finances, your mindset, your relationships for what's coming. It is saying no to distractions, no to fear, no to compromise. It is guarding your gates, keeping your alignment, staying focused. Because delay is not denial. Delay is simply the test before delivery. People around you may not understand. They may laugh at your declarations. They may say you're unrealistic. But that's because they cannot see what you see. They do not hear what you hear. They were not chosen for this word. You were. And you cannot let the opinions of those who were not called distract you from the call on your life. Remember, Noah's neighbors weren't invited onto the ark. Abraham's relatives weren't shown the stars. Joseph's brothers weren't given the dreams. The vision was entrusted to one, and that one was enough to shift history. You are that one. So, what does enduring faith look like day to day? It looks like waking up and declaring the promise before you scroll your phone. It looks like cleansing even when you're tired. It looks like choosing words of life instead of complaints. It looks like preparing budgets and plans as if the millions are already here. It looks like walking with your head high, shoulders back, as if you already carry the weight of influence. That's endurance. That's faith in action. And let me remind you, your endurance is not just for you. It is inspiring heaven. Angels respond to endurance. The atmosphere shifts when you endure. Even people watching you, friends, family, co-workers, they may not admit it, but they are being stirred by your consistency. They see you holding on to something invisible, and when it manifests, they will remember how steady you were. Your endurance will become part of your testimony, proof that faith works, proof that promises manifest, proof that God is faithful. Now, expect resistance. The closer you get to manifestation, the louder the enemy will fight. He will send distractions. He will stir up stress. He will tempt you to quit. But the fact that resistance increases is the proof that you are close. You don't face storms in empty seas. You face storms on the way to promised land. So, when the fire intensifies, rejoice. It means your blessing is near. Hold steady, keep cleansing, keep declaring, keep preparing. Don't measure by time, measure by faith, because time can stretch, but faith never fails. And when the moment comes when the vault opens and 333 million pours into your life, you'll realize the fire was worth it. The waiting was worth it. The laughter of doubters was worth it. Because your faith endured, and now your blessing is undeniable. And here's the truth, you won't just be blessed, you'll be unshakable. Because once you've endured faith under fire, you cannot be shaken by anything less. Doubt won't touch you. Criticism won't move you. Fear won't silence you. You'll walk with authority because you'll know without question. Promises manifest when you endure. So keep the fire burning. Keep repeating the truth. Keep holding steady because your faith is the fuse and it's already lit. The explosion of blessing is about to release. And when it does, the world will see what happens when faith endures under fire. Wholeness is the final fruit of the blessing. You must understand this. $333 million is not just about wealth in your account. It is about wealth in your soul, wealth in your relationships, wealth in your peace. Money alone cannot heal you, but money with alignment, money with purpose, money with heaven's decree, this creates wholeness. And that is what God is releasing over your life right now. When the blessing manifests, you will notice the shift in every area of your being. Financially, yes, you will overflow. But emotionally, you will find yourself lighter, freer, no longer weighed down by stress. Spiritually, you will feel aligned, connected, centered, no longer scattered or confused. Physically, you will feel stronger, because stress no longer eats away at your body. This is the difference between just being rich and being whole. Richness without wholeness is misery, but wholeness with richness is destiny fulfilled. Imagine waking up in the morning not with a heavy heart but with a rested spirit. Imagine walking into your day not burdened by survival but guided by purpose. Imagine living in peace so deep that even chaos around you cannot disturb it. That's wholeness. That's what it feels like when alignment is complete. And 333 million is not just a sign of financial overflow. It is heaven's confirmation that wholeness belongs to you. Think back to the cleansing of your gates, the feet, the groin, the navel. Those daily acts were never about superstition. They were about alignment. And now you will see why. Your feet will not just carry you into money, they will carry you into purpose. Your groin will not just release creative ideas, it will release legacy. Your navel will not just ground you, it will connect you to divine flow. Every gate you prepared is now flowing with wholeness. You are not scattered, you are centered. You are not confused, you are clear. You are not stuck, you are moving forward in alignment. Wholeness also means your relationships shift. Strained ties begin to heal. Misunderstandings begin to dissolve. Where there was bitterness, forgiveness flows. Where there was distance, connection is restored. Why? Because overflow brings healing. You are no longer reactive from stress. You are proactive from peace. You have the capacity to love deeper, to give more freely, to show up more fully. And as you become whole, those connected to you feel the ripples. Families will heal. Communities will strengthen. Legacies will be rebuilt. All because you chose obedience, and obedience birthed wholeness. Oh, and don't overlook the influence of peace. When you walk into a room carrying both abundance and peace, you change atmospheres. People sense it. They feel safe around you. They feel inspired around you. They feel hope rise just by being near you. That's the power of wholeness. It radiates. It's not just about your inner life, it's about the presence you carry into the world. You become a living testimony that God's promises do not just fill bank accounts, they restore souls. Now, think forward into the years ahead. See yourself 10 years from now. Your family is thriving. Your businesses are flourishing. Your community is stronger. And you are whole. You are not frantic, not drained, not broken. You are steady, aligned, abundant, and peaceful. You look back at this moment, the moment you believed, the moment you prepared, the moment you declared, and you say, that's when everything shifted. That's when I agreed with heaven. That's when I stepped into wholeness. That future version of you is already thanking you for choosing faith today. Wholeness also means you walk without apology. You will not downplay your blessing. You will not shrink your story. You will not apologize for walking in favor. Because you know this blessing was not given to you just for yourself. It was given to you for testimony, to shine, to inspire, to prove that God is not just a God of survival, but a God of abundance. You carry this boldly, not arrogantly, because you know the source. Your boast will never be in your bank account. It will always be in your God. And as you live in wholeness, your legacy will outlast you. Generations after you will feel the impact of what you carried. Children not yet born will benefit from decisions you make now. Communities you may never meet will be blessed because you chose to prepare, to obey, to endure, and to align. That's wholeness. Blessing that multiplies beyond your lifespan. So let this be your declaration. I am whole, I am aligned, I am abundant in every way. God has given me $333 million, and with it, He has given me peace, clarity, and destiny fulfilled. Speak it daily. Live it boldly. Carry it consistently. Because wholeness is not coming, it is here. The season of delay is over. The season of survival has ended. The season of struggle is behind you. You are walking now into fullness, into peace, into prosperity, into purpose. $333 million is your sign, your confirmation, your covenant. And with it comes wholeness. Body, mind, spirit, and legacy aligned with heaven. So rise boldly, walk freely, Live fully. The world is about to witness the undeniable truth that when heaven decrees, no force can stop it. You are whole, you are chosen, you are abundant, and the flood of blessing has already begun. You've just heard the decree, and now the choice is yours. Don't let this moment slip away, because $333 million has already been released with your name on it. Speak it, believe it, and watch it manifest. If this word stirred your spirit, type, "I receive $333 million" in the comments so heaven knows you agree. Hit subscribe and turn on the bell so you never miss the next confirmation waiting for you. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it, because blessings multiply when they flow. Your overflow starts now.